This is Joshua Ramsawmy. The W is silent. He has been brought in the Orlando police station for questioning in regards of the double homicide of the mother and her adult son, who shortly before their deaths lost $50,000 from the bank Ramsawmy's wife worked at. There's been a bank heist committed in the state of Florida. Banking, old American art. There is countless number of bank robbers in history. In today's high-tech world, robbing banks may seem archaic, yet it's a crime that continues to cause chaos upon financial institutions and communities around the world. Robbers steal millions of dollars each year from banks, credit unions, organizations, and private savings. These criminals, in certain circumstances, are armed. They frequently threaten or kill employees and clients. The plan is to get the money and leave. We all know about the spectacular heists from the movies, like in Baby Driver, Drive, or Inception, or from the video games such as Payday, Thief, or Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a robbery.
But it doesn't always go as planned. And real life isn't fiction. People are far less spectacular and noble in real life than they are romanticized in fiction. And there is always the second part of the story. Failed bank heists. There is countless number of bank robbers in history. The punishment, however, stays the same. It still now can end with the death penalty.
New details at 5 on what may have led to the death of a mother and her son earlier this month. 52-year-old Cynthia Stack and her son, 22-year-old Sean Stack, were found dead in their apartment along West Jefferson Street back on July 18th. Orlando police arrested 2 people in connection to their murders over the weekend, and they are now in jail. News 6's Vanessa Ariza has been digging to find answers on what led up to their deaths. She joins us now live from the victim's apartment. So, Vanessa, what did you find out?
Well, Lisa, first and foremost, here at the apartment complex, crime line reward posters like this one remain on both sides of the complex, in and out of the apartment complex here. Now, the details and what led up to those deaths are still unknown. And that 10-page document, court records that may detail what exactly happened, those are still sealed. But I spoke with one of the suspect's former employers who may shed new light on this case.
Joshua Ramsawmy and his wife, Amelia Bisoon, worked at Chase Bank in downtown Orlando. One day, Amelia's client was Gerald Stack, Jerry. He was 75 years old. He had dementia. Taking advantage of the man, Bisoon drafted 2 $25,000 checks from his account. Her husband then opened 2 accounts at another bank with the $50,000. Jerry's daughter, Cynthia, began to question the transactions taking place in her father's account. She realized her father's money was missing. She planned to file a complaint. She's been calling Amelia at her home for a few days. Police was about to be involved. What would you do to cover up a failed bank robbery? Well, Joshua Ramsawmy bought a gun from a pawn shop. On July 18th, 5 shots were fired at an apartment on West Jefferson Street near Orange Blossom Trail. Police found Cynthia and Sean inside with fatal gunshot wounds. Sean was only 22. The following interrogation footage as a whole tape is 12 hours long. It was thankfully shortened. The most important parts are included in this video. The date is July 26, 2018. Orlando Police homicide detectives are Detective Moreshi and Detective Ferreira. The pair of the detectives will execute a standard good cop, bad cop strategy. They will use various steps of read interrogation technique. At the beginning, they will be friendly, to keep the suspect as relaxed as possible, at least for now. Then, progressively, it will change.
Hey, how you doing? Josh?
Oh, yeah.
Cold?
It is cold in
Well,
here.
that water's a little warm, so that might warm you up a little bit.
Jeez, yeah, it's cold in here.
With the offering of the warm water, the detectives proceed to treat Josh like a toddler.
Doing alright, buddy?
Yeah.
Alright, they got you to the bathroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You wash your hands?
No.
No? I was gonna say, I'll give one of these then.
Yeah.
Detective Ferrer, this is
Yeah, they
Detective
told me not to
Moreshi.
wash my hands.
Oh, okay.
Josh.
Alright. Give one of those. Yeah. Alright.
So Josh had a pretty harrowing thing with the Ocoee Police Department a couple weeks ago.
No, that was on Tuesday, I think, last week.
Yeah, we actually were sitting in here. We heard that because they sent out a single 43, which goes everywhere.
Yeah.
I guess the kid tried to run the cop over.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Alright, Josh, well, we can explain to you what's going on, obviously. I'm sure you want to know. Get a couple things we need to go over first before we do that.
Okay.
I'm going to put the recorder on, just so we don't miss anything.
Gotcha.
Don't put any words in your mouth. I always tell
That's
people.
fine, yeah.
People get scared. I'm like, you know what? I can't
Yeah,
put
well,
words
this
in your
morning
mouth.
I was like, what the heck's going on? Because my wife was like, listen, there's a car outside the house. My mother-in-law was like, there's a car outside the house. I'm like, all right, because then she worked for Chase too, so I guess her branch manager and somebody else got followed the other night after they left work. So we're all like skeptical, like what's going on? We don't know, because we don't live that far from her where she works. So
Okay.
I was like, everything going on. I was like, nah, this is not right.
Right.
Well, let me turn this on. We'll go from there. Okay. All right.
From friendly to tense, the atmosphere in the interrogation room changed. The reality kicked in. It must feel stressful to know that you stole $50,000 and murdered 2 innocent people, and now you must act like nothing ever happened.
This is Detective Brian Ferrer, the Orlando Police Department. Today's date is Tuesday, July 26, 2018. The time is now approximately 1500 hours. This is an interview taking place at Orlando Police Headquarters in CID interview room number 4. Also present is Detective Michael Moreshi with the Orlando Police Department and a Joshua, just for the record, if you could just say your name.
Ramsawmy.
Full name and date of
Joshua
birth, please.
Ramsawmy, April 8th, 1990.
Thank you. Okay, Josh. Can I call you Josh?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Are you married?
Yes.
To
Amelia Bisoon,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
We actually just got married September of last year.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Any kids?
She has a kid. 1 kid.
Okay, so it's not yours, though.
Yeah, not my kid. I claim him as mine. I've known him since he was like maybe a year and a half.
All right.
Or a year and 3 months to be exact.
All right. Let's do this. Listen, I'm going to go over these with you. Okay. You understand? What I explain to people is this. There's always 2 sides to every story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Obviously, we have one side of a story, and that's why you're here.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. So, you work at Chase?
Yes.
How long have you worked at Chase?
May 7th was when I started. Yeah, May 7th. My wife's birthday, actually. It was my first day there.
So it's kind of a new job.
Yeah. I actually, long story short,
Okay.
I injured myself in December. I actually was putting my firearm away in the car, and I decided to land on a Zephyr Hills water ball cap and go off of my leg. So I was doing, when I moved back from New York last year,
Right.
I was doing a forklift mechanic with my cousins.
Okay.
Then after that, everything just stopped. I was home doing therapy, and then she was like, start working again. I'm like, all right. And then she sent me the rec to work for Chase.
You like working for Chase?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah?
One of the best jobs I've ever had.
What do you do at Chase?
Except robbing and murdering people for money, obviously.
Card collections. Credit card
Oh,
collections.
boy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Let me ask you this question. I'm going to throw this out to you. Why do you think you're sitting here right now?
I honestly have no idea.
No idea?
No idea.
Okay. So, make sure I understand you. Now, your wife is Amelia.
Mm-hmm.
Bisoon is her last
Bisoon,
name, right?
yes.
Okay.
She hasn't changed her last name yet.
Okay. And she lives with you over there on Inca?
Correct.
So you think she knows, Amelia knows your grandson?
The grandson, yeah.
Do you know how she knows him?
I think she actually opened an account for him.
Do you know Gerald's grandson?
No.
Do you know anybody in Gerald's family?
Mm-mm.
Do you own a farm?
I did. I actually bought one last week, Monday. And that was a big argument between me and Amelia.
Inability to pinpoint the exact time he had bought the firearm isn't exactly incriminating. However, it seems suspicious. As he stated, he had a big argument with his wife, which is definitely something he should be able to remember fairly well. He says he did own it, not that he still does, suggesting he somehow got rid of it.
Okay. Can you tell me about it?
I actually bought it last week, I think Monday it was. Then that whole thing happened with the Koi PD Tuesday, and she started bitching at me. She's like, you know, why the fuck you're not a hero, this, that, and the third. And I was like, for me, I've always had a gun. I've had a Smith & Wesson. I've always had a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And then after this whole situation, of course, Orange County had the gun. So I was like, you know, we had a thunderstorm. I think it was like Sunday. And I was like, we saw a car pull up in the yard, or I did. And I was like, I don't know who it is. I put the light on, the car drove away. So I'm like, okay, fine. And I was like, you know, things are getting a little crazy where we live. We need some type of protection in the house. And then she started bitching at me, and I'm like, oh my God.
It had to be stressful, especially with a little child at home. Being stressed about living in a tense environment isn't the sole reason to take part in criminal activity, yet it suggests this aspect was agitated or annoyed around the time of the crime.
She's like, oh, what if that happens to you? What if you kill yourself again or injure yourself again? And I'm like, we got into an argument, and I was like, fuck it. I was like, all right. And then I left the house. She was all bitching at me, this, that, and the third. I'm like, okay, I went back with my parents. And then, where did I go? Got into an argument. I know I ended up at Alchemy Hookah Lounge around like 11:30 that night. That was on Tuesday. I took a drive to Daytona, and I actually chucked the fucking gun over the damn bridge. I was like, fuck it. And she was like, what the hell did you do?
Swearing might suggest he is highly emotional about it, but the passive tone of his voice indicates that he doesn't really care, as if tossing a gun to the lake wasn't anything serious, just a regular day-to-day occurrence. By admitting he had a gun before, he must think he is being truthful and then will be perceived as innocent. However, he fails to realize it's highly suspicious to get rid of any gun at any given time, and no matter if you're calm about it or not.
Okay, which bridge in Daytona did you really gone off of?
On International, is it International Speedway or Parkway?
Did you pull over?
No, I was actually parked. I walked. I was just trying to clear my head, and I was just had like a relapse of what happened to my leg, and I was like, fuck this, and I just threw the gun.
What time was that at?
Probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
People sometimes drive to the lake at 3 a.m. to clear their heads, but people rarely drive to the lake at 3 a.m. to dispose of a gun.
Where do you get it from?
It's a pawn shop in Winter Garden. I actually was gonna buy another gun from there before. One of my buddies worked there. His name is Doug, but he was on vacation.
Okay. So you went to Daytona. What time did you get back from Daytona?
Probably like 5:30 in the morning. I actually went back to Daytona the other night. We got into an argument.
You went back the other night?
Yeah.
Where do you go in Daytona? Why do you keep going to Daytona?
I back in the day when I used to have arguments with my parents and stuff, I just go for a drive, long drive. Sometimes, I mean, shit, hell, I know I remember when I was younger, I used to drive from 50 from east all the way west. And just, for me, I didn't want to be home because I was like, I don't want to argue with her and have another argument. Julian's there, her parents are there. I'm like, just wanted to save an argument.
He basically stated he wanted to avoid arguing with his wife while her parents and son were present. This is most likely true. It might be the only true thing Joshua Ramsawmy says in this interview.
Damn, I wish I had a jacket.
So, I just, so maybe I understand. So walk me through that. So you get to the fight, you said you went, where's the first place that you went after that?
Well, I was home.
Mm-hmm.
I left. I was by I know I went to my cousin's shop. I can't remember if that was before or after we fought. And then I went back to my parents' house. And I was like, alright. I came back home. And I was like...
What time did you come back home?
I don't remember.
So you went back to your house?
Mm-hmm.
So
But she was at work. She was
okay.
at work, so I was like, that's fine.
Okay. Then where?
I think that was around like 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I left the house again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just driving around. I was trying to figure out what to do. My buddy was in New York, so I was like, I can't call him. And then I ended up, where did I go? I can't remember what I did. And I was just I drove around for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and then around like 11:30, I ended up going to Alchemy Hookah Lounge.
Where's that at?
That is on Kirkman. I don't know if you know where Colombian Burger is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right there.
Who'd
And
you
that's
see
how
it?
Amelia knew I was there, because a buddy of mine had a Snapchat video. And then the last car was my car.
Okay.
It might seem like a solid alibi, but the detective dismisses it. He points to the evidence instead.
Did you have your phone with you?
Yeah.
Was it on?
Nah,
Why not?
because my wife was going to call me.
So up until, alright, so again, I just want to make sure I understand.
Mhm.
This is where I'm going to be on the same page with you. Okay, so you get into this argument, you leave, you're pissed off enough that you don't go home.
Yeah.
But you don't go to Daytona right away. You're in town for a little bit. You drive around. For a little bit, you can't remember where you're at.
Yeah, I mean, I just drove around.
Okay. And your phone was off then?
Yeah,
The whole time?
the whole time.
So what time do you say you left the house?
Around like, I think it was like 3. Between 3:30 and 4, something like that. Around there.
And there'll be no activity on your phone whatsoever. No text messages, no nothing.
No, nothing.
Alright.
He was driving around but doesn't remember where. He had a phone but it was off.
Then you went to Daytona. And you took this gun. And you threw it off the overpass?
Yeah.
Was it all in one piece?
Yeah. All in one piece.
What caliber is that gun?
I think it was a 9mm.
What kind of ammunition did you put in it?
I didn't have any ammunition inside of it.
You didn't have any ammunition inside of it?
No.
Did you buy ammunition for it when you bought it?
No.
Okay.
Who buys guns without any ammunition and then gets rid of it? There's no need to get rid of something which is useless anyway. Why destroy it if it was never used? He fails to realize how ridiculous it sounds.
Well, I just get a little confused. So, explain to me your reasoning again as to why you threw this gun off this pier.
I had a real, I guess
overpass.
a relapse of what happened to me, and I was like, some shit happens again by accident. Fuck my life up again.
But it's not loaded.
Yeah, it wasn't loaded.
Okay.
It went into water?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was on a bridge over water, wasn't
Yeah,
just some officer?
yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the bridge right before you get to the Daytona Beach.
Yeah, you get off like, what is it, 75 on International, or 80, what is it?
95.
95. By the Speedway there,
Mhm.
and just keep going, and
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
I know what you're talking about.
I guess that's where I get a little concerned. Well, my thing is, you guys are kind of hurting for money. Sounds like. I mean, you're working now, but you're
Yeah, I'm
hurting for
working
money.
now, so things
So
are
you spent
just-
$250 in cash on this gun.
Yeah.
It's a pawn shop.
Mm-hmm.
Pawn shops are pretty good. I mean, usually you can go back and pawn it
Yeah,
back,
but
right?
I was like, at that very moment, I was like, anything could fucking happen, and I'm like,
This is a logical explanation. You can pawn back something that you had no need for and get your money back, especially when you desperately need it. This aspect agrees, not verbally, but by nodding his head. That's what he would do if that story was true. He begins to get nervous, so the detective changes the topic.
But it's not loaded.
it wasn't loaded. Yeah.
So right down, you got basically a paperweight.
Yeah.
So it's not dangerous to you at that point in time.
Mm-hmm. But for me, mentality-wise, I wasn't thinking like that. I just threw it. And then, I mean, it's fucking, I told my sister what I did. She was like, are you dumb? Are you stupid?
His sister was probably asking, "Are you dumb?" because he just killed 2 people.
You know, we've just been fighting. We've just been fighting a lot lately. Like, we're actually supposed to go on a cruise on Saturday for a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, you know, we're contemplating that here and back and forth. And I was like, you know, maybe that'll help our relationship because we've been arguing a lot lately.
They were probably arguing because they've been made. Cynthia Stack was calling Amelia for days, trying to get an explanation of why $50,000 vanished out of thin air.
Getting confused. Have you, again, make sure I understand you right, you don't know anybody in Gerald's family?
No.
Okay. Are we going to see any phone records of you contacting anybody in Gerald's family?
No, not that I know of.
Is it, well, again, let's see, is it possible? Because if it is, we
Yeah.
can talk about it.
I mean,
And
unless
I'm not-
Amelia used my phone, then no.
So if it was Amelia, use your phone.
Yeah.
Why would you have to use your phone to contact them?
I have no idea.
Step 7 in read technique, presenting an alternative question. An innocent person would simply say, "Yes, I probably knew them or heard about them from work, as they were clients of the bank me and my wife work at." He thinks that contacting the victim's family is the prequel of getting the blame, and basically says, if it happened, Amelia did it, not me.
Which I know she had my phone for a little bit on Saturday. I mean, sometimes, I'll leave my phone inside the house while I do yard work or work on my car.
But if she had access to her phone?
Yes.
So I guess I'm trying to, now again, is this something where we want to say that, do we want to, Josh, listen,
Mm-hmm.
we're here for something very, very serious, okay?
Okay.
And you have to understand something, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Your answers just aren't making any sense, all right? We've been doing this for a little bit. We know, we've been doing this for a while, okay?
Okay.
You seem like a very good guy. You know, the little bit I'm talking to you, you're respectful and you know, you're nice. And you got to understand, sometimes we have more answers than you know.
Yeah.
All right? We've asked you questions to see where you're at,
Mm-hmm.
okay? If there's anything that you think we need to know, I mean, now's the time to tell us, okay? There's probably a little bit more to this story, the whole thing. $50,000 is a lot of money,
Yeah.
okay? And, you know, you have to be wondering why I'm asking about that. See, that's the funny thing. You haven't asked me yet. Like, why am I asking about that, right? You know, there's a lot going on here, okay?
Okay.
And I need to understand from you
Mm-hmm.
where you were at, okay, in this whole thing. And you gotta understand that right now, you being honest with us
Mm-hmm.
is the best thing in the world, okay? We're your best friends here, okay?
Okay.
You have to be able to explain your actions and what you did. And if we can't understand that, then it looks really bad.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's walk through this a little bit, okay?
Mhm.
What are we missing?
Nothing that I know of. I mean, told you guys where I was, what I was doing. I mean, you could check our phone records too. We've been fighting for a long time.
Well, explain this to me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
How is it that you wound up at Cynthia's house, Cynthia's apartment over on Jefferson? Because I have eyewitnesses that put you there.
That I ended up there?
You're very, listen, let's.
Sometimes a person will repeat the question as a way to stall, while trying to come up with a lie.
You have kind of a distinct look. You understand what I'm saying? And you have a distinct car. Well, not a distinct car. I should take that back. But I think it's telling that you said it was maroon. All right, because that's an eyewitness describes it as a maroon Nissan Altima with a guy that's your height, hair parted, 2 earrings, everything. You're there. Okay, I have no question about that. All right. So what we're trying to understand is why you were there. Why were you at Cynthia's place? And again,
I was never at her place.
Okay. All right.
And I don't even know where she, like I said, I don't know anything about Gerald's family. Nothing.
And you were never at his house either?
No.
You understand we have the notarized document, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know we were there when you went there with the notary. We have that document.
Yeah, well, I never physically met him.
Okay. You were in his house. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Okay. But Cynthia, I was never at her house.
Listen to me. You have to understand something, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you're probably scared right now, all right? Because you're not somebody that gets in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? Okay? You have to understand, like I said, there's 2 sides to every story. All right? The eyewitness has no reason to lie.
Correct.
Okay? And there's no point in that, okay? So you were there. Well, I need to know why you were there. You understand what I'm saying? If there's some innocent reason, I need to know. But I need to know why. So why did you go there? Did you go there to tell them that you were going to pay him back?
No, okay. Can we clear this whole thing out?
The sympathetic and understanding tone of the detective's voice worked. The suspect asks for a second chance. He realized both the evidence gathered against him and the absurdity of his story, so he decides to blame it all on somebody else.
What's up?
Okay. So, Amelia was freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, I did chuck my gun over the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
Okay. Tell me about that.
She sent somebody, I don't know who she sent, to go to either talk to them. I don't know if it was the same day or same night, but after that I went to Alchemy and talked,
Who did she send? Wait a minute, hold on. So you were there. Was somebody else with you?
No, I was by myself.
So after you left, she sent somebody else over there? Is that
I don't know. Because I know she was saying before, like,
What day were you there?
That was on Tuesday. I went there at 3:30 on Tuesday to talk to her.
3:30 in the afternoon?
Mm-hmm. Or 4 o'clock.
And how long did you stay for?
I mean, maybe... I honestly don't remember.
It was quite a period of time.
Yeah.
Why were you there so long?
Just to talk to her, just to see how...
Did you go inside?
Yeah, I actually sat down and talked to her.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Who's her?
To the lady, Cynthia.
Was anybody else in the house?
I think the same kid, Sean.
The detectives did it. They got the suspect to admit he was at the crime scene and talked to the victims shortly before the time of their deaths. Regardless of who sent who to do what, Joshua Ramsawmy cannot leave the Orlando Police Department tonight. He clearly had a role in this homicide. The investigators will now seek to obtain a brief oral review of the event before asking more detailed questions. This is the read technique, step 8.
And how did the conversation go?
And I told her I found out about it. I talked to her, and then I guess I left. Maybe, I don't know, right before I went to 11 something, right before I went to Alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, that was it.
So, if I'm understanding you right, you're saying Amelia is the one that that talk to somebody to take care of them?
Yeah, and I don't
Why?
know. I have no idea.
Well, I mean, how do you know that?
Well, there was a kid that came to our house.
What's his name?
Jay something. I don't know his phone. I've seen him once at my house, and that was it. And that was for Amelia's birthday party.
Okay.
And she told me, how she's gonna talk to him, to talk to her, to stay away from her. And I was like, it's not making sense, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't. First, Amelia is guilty. Then this Jay something, recruited at the birthday party. Who would know that finding a good hitman is literally a piece of cake?
Like, what's going on, or whatever. And then I went there, talked to the lady, talked to her son, you know.
How do we find this guy?
Who? Find who?
This person that she talked to.
Oh, how do you find him?
Yeah.
I can give you, I think I have his phone number.
Okay.
It's some guy that, I know his name is Jay.
Really struggling here. If he has troubles remembering the name Jay, it explains why the whole interrogation tape is 12 hours long.
She gave him $10,000 to what?
I have no idea. And from my understanding...
What do you think she gave him $10,000 for?
To kill him.
To kill them both? Cynthia was demanding an explanation, but Sean wasn't even a part of this. From the police evidence, it seems that Sean was killed only because he was there when his mother was shot. Would a hitman do it? Or somebody who panicked?
Yeah,
again, I'm just understanding. I guess my question is, why were you there so long again? I mean, you're at Cynthia's house for a very long time.
I was there, and I was just talking to her, explaining to her, like, you know...
What did she say to you about that?
She was like, you know, it's upsetting because her brother stole money from Gerald.
Amelia, suspect's wife, stole the money. Gerald told Bisoon he suffered a brain injury, and she, out of her good heart, promised to help him with his life savings. But she didn't help. She transferred the money into her account.
And long story short, how that she was just like, oh, how Gerald doesn't trust anybody. And I told her that, you know, and I said, okay, that's fine. And then, I mean, she was talking to me for a while about everything. Like,
was Sean talking to you too?
Yeah, once in a while. He was just saying how, it was like, how he's trying to find a job, and he used to be a cashier or something like that from where they...
Okay.
His voice shaking while talking about the victims could mean one of two things. Either he is emotional about their deaths, which he clearly isn't, considering he had lied about knowing them, or the guilt of what he's done is finally catching up, and he gives away how nervous he feels right now. By reaching for the bottle, he tries to gain more time. The detectives immediately recognize this and intensify the pressure.
Joshua, listen to me. Again, I'm looking at you. I see you're nervous, and I see...
Cold.
Yeah, I know, I'm cold too, but I can see, you know, there's some stuff, all right? I don't think you're somebody that is... I don't think you have a... I'm gonna say it, like a mean bone or anything like that. You seem like a very nice, soft-spoken kind of guy, and I'm sure that there's probably some stuff that's eating at you, you know, and some of the stuff that you want to get off your chest. I mean, you talked to your sister a couple of days ago. There's some stuff that's, listen, Joshua, this isn't going away, okay? Some of the stuff you said here, you know, it gives us a lot of pause, all right? Remember I told you that if there's a reason, if there's a reason why, if you were scared and you did something that, you know, was a mistake and you probably should have done, then that's something we need to know, because that explains a lot, all right? Right now, you know, I just, if you explain why, that goes so far. You understand what I'm saying? It goes so far. And it helps people understand where you were. If you were in a bad place and a bad, you know, frame of mind, that changes the ball game. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why, you know, I mean, we need to hear from you, like, you know, where you were when you did this. Okay? What happened?
When I was there at the house.
I know. But listen, we know, listen.
Mm.
Okay? Gotta understand something. Let's get beyond it, okay? I don't think there's a question that Amelia she didn't call anybody, she didn't pay anybody. Alright? I'll figure that out in 3 seconds.
She did.
Okay?
I'm telling you, she did.
If we can hear it from you and we can go and say, look, he didn't just, if it's something that got out of hand versus something that you planned, that's a whole different ballgame. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you plan this out, that's a bad thing. But if it got out of hand, if you went back just to try and talk and it got out of hand, that's a whole different ballgame. You understand what I mean? Okay? That changes everything. But I don't know that until I hear it from you.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, this all I know is what we have.
The fact that he is silent even after the alternative solution is presented, asking, "Are you the cold-blooded monster or not?" definitely suggests the first option. Things didn't get out of hand because they were planned, and the silence is very telling.
I just don't want to get nobody else in trouble.
Okay.
That's not the issue here.
I mean, if you
Because
love
I'm
Amelia,
scared.
listen, if you love Amelia, you're going to put her under the bus? You don't want to do that, do you?
I'm just scared for everybody else.
I know you're
that's-
scared. I know you're scared.
That's the problem right now.
Who's
My
going to get in
family,
trouble?
her
Right.
family.
But at the end of the day, you have to look and say, you know, you made the right decision, you did the right thing. Like you said, you don't want to get anybody else in trouble. Let's not lump anybody else in this. Doesn't need to be lumped into this.
I didn't throw the gun away.
Success. Regardless of whether this is true or not, the detectives got him to admit he was lying. From now on, the suspect is no longer credible, and anything he says can be called into question, dismissing any further lies. And he's about to tell a big one.
Okay, tell me.
I left there
Mhm.
at maybe 10 something.
Mm-hmm.
But before I left,
Mm-hmm.
the same guy that I guess Amelia paid him. He messaged me on Snapchat, oh, there's $9,000, $10,000 more. And I was like, maybe he's trying to, at first I thought it was maybe he's trying to sell drugs or something to get the money back.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. And the same guy came up to my car.
Mm-hmm.
He said, what are you doing? I said, I wanted to talk to her to get the money back. And he's like, oh, Amelia, or Jay sent me here. I'm like, sent you here for what? And he was like, he had a gun to my head. And he said, he's like, I know you have a gun. Give me your gun and leave.
Convenient he only wanted the murder weapon, right?
And that was it.
Josh, why did you put a gun in your head and take your gun?
I don't know. All I know is Amelia paid them $10,000.
To put a gun to your head and take your gun?
I don't know why she paid them. I don't even know why.
Well, before you said you thought they paid him to shut her up. Is what you told me.
Yeah, that's
So
why
now you're saying you don't know.
that could have been.
So why
To
would they have?
shut her up.
Okay, so why would they have to come to you, right? Come to
I
you
don't know. I
and
guess
put
they
a gun in your
figured,
head and take your gun.
figured they weren't like they figured that I wasn't gonna be there or go talk to her or something. From what I
Wait,
understand.
Josh. You know you're making this hole that much bigger. You know that. That doesn't make any sense to anybody, Josh. Alright? It just doesn't. No. Okay? I mean, how would these people know where to find you, and then all of a sudden they found you and took your gun? To do what? To frame you?
He doesn't dismiss any of the questions. If his story was true, would he sit there in silence with his arms crossed?
And that's what I really think happened to this thing, that you threw the gun over the bridge. We know you went to Daytona because we got the receipt and everything else that you went to Daytona. We know you got gas over there, all right? What makes more sense is, well, I mean, You threw a gun because you used it.
No.
Yes. Josh, listen to me. Listen. Again, I think we're trying to figure out the why right now. That's about all we're trying to figure out, okay? We're not trying to figure out the who. We're trying to figure out the why. And I told you, this is your time. We can't sit here forever, you know, and think, this is your time to tell us why. And like I said, a panic is different than I went over there and I wanted to do it. You had every reason to do this. Okay? Not somebody else. You.
He should protest, but remains silent. This prompts the second detective to join the confrontation.
Josh, here's the thing. Despite whatever troubles you got, I can tell that you love your wife, and the prospect of her getting into trouble or possibly going to jail for stealing this money was weighing on you heavily, and you went over there because of that love.
This is completely fine and justifiable reason of at least wanting to commit the crime, willing to protect somebody you love. Compare this to murdering somebody in order to cover up for a failed bank heist. The suspect doesn't realize this.
Okay, and in fact, we've talked to Amelia already, and we asked her who's the most important person in Josh's life, and she said, I would assume it's me. And I said, he's not going to do or say anything that's going to jeopardize your future, right? And she goes, I wouldn't think so. So when I asked Amelia who's the most important person in her life, what do you think she said?
Me.
Yeah.
So they love each other. We might assume they wouldn't rat each other out. However,
She's spilling it because she's looking at the prospect of never seeing her son again except for through bars. She knows we have all this stuff where the theft goes and all these different phone calls and whatnot. But she's over there saying that you killed these people. You're over here saying that she paid somebody to kill these people.
Yes.
it must be devastating to hear that your beloved wife blames you for the double murder, yet he doesn't look surprised at all.
One of you is a really awful person. You know, someone is letting their spouse go to prison for the rest of their life for something that they did. Is it you or her?
The second detective plays the bad cop. He doesn't offer any sympathy the first detective had. He just laughs at him.
I don't have a bone in me to kill anybody.
He clearly bought what the good cop said earlier, calling him too good of a guy, not having a bad bone in him to kill anybody.
Okay, and the whole...
I just went there.
You knew enough, Josh, to lie to us about the gun.
Mm-hmm.
You knew that was the very first thing. We didn't even solicit that.
Yeah.
You knew I've got to lie to these guys about that gun and say it was empty and I threw it in the bridge over in Daytona Beach. You knew that you had to tell that lie. That was the very first lie you told us. You have the motivation. Are you going to, and again, are people going to kill people for $10,000?
I'm trying to figure out how they took the gun from you. Explain that. Walk me through that.
Okay, I was sitting in my car.
Where?
In front of their apartment.
What time?
This was 10-something.
Before, okay.
And they said they were sitting there around the corner since...
Who said that?
The same guy.
How did you know that?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
What do you mean, how do I know?
Well, they said they were sitting around the corner. How did you know that?
He told me, he's like, we were watching you. We see you talking to this lady. What's going on? Did you tell her that you spoke to Jay? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yes, exactly. What are you talking about, Josh? You already told us this story, and it was a lie.
Like, I came to talk to this lady to try to resolve an issue. And he put a gun to my head, and he said, I know you have a gun on me. I don't know how he knew I had a gun on me in the first place. He took my gun, and he said, leave. I left, and I went to Alchemy. From Alchemy, I drove to Daytona, and I came back home.
So Friday or Saturday, you give these guys the money.
Mm-hmm.
And you went with?
Yeah.
You went with Amelia. Who did you give the money to?
The same Jay kid.
Okay, have you met him before?
Yes, he was at my house. I've met him a couple times here and there. Since our relationship, I don't really get along with him. He's drugs and stuff like that, so I'm like, okay.
Was there an agreement for more money after it was done?
from what I understand, he said there's $9,000 or something like that. He texted me and I said, what are you talking about?
Was there a discussion about how this was going to be done?
No. Well, from him and Amelia talked in the car. And then I went outside and talked to him. I said, what's going on? He said, oh, Amelia's like my sister. I just want to get, things straight between you and her. Long story short, he said he was there to help her because he's known her for that long. And I said, okay. We gave him I think it was $1,000 that night.
But it wasn't Jay Prasad that put the gun to your head?
No.
Okay. What did that guy look like?
Right. You are asking about an imaginary guy from my imaginary story? Well...
probably 6'5", bald black guy, all
Not
black clothes.
like African American?
Yeah. He didn't have any hair. He had one of those scully caps on.
Maybe it was Idris Elba.
How are we going to prove this communication between your wife and Jay Prasad? Did they have text messages?
On Snapchat. I don't know if you guys can pull Snapchat records.
You know what, I mean, if I may, you know what I see? I see somebody who's trying to explain the disappearance of a gun, and see, the only reason we would explain the disappearance of a gun is because it was used in something. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Josh,
I'm telling
no,
you.
listen, hold on a second, all right? Because realistically, you keep saying that, and Josh, because you're such a good guy, you don't do a good job not telling the truth. You understand what I'm saying? You do a pretty shitty job not telling the truth, okay? So, you've lost us, okay? You've lost us in the fact to say some guy that and it seems like it progresses. It's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, we did, yeah, maybe you did. I mean, you're pretty confident about the cameras, but where I get lost is you have this 9mm that you just went and bought. First off, you say you throw it over this bridge because it bothered you when it wasn't even armed. It couldn't even hurt you. So instead of going and selling it back because of money issues and everything else, nope, you just go throw it over the bridge. Nuh-uh. Second thing is, why on earth would this guy need to come up to you? Okay? First of all,
it's the same guy.
No, listen, you pay him money to go make him be quiet, right? That doesn't work. I guess apparently or something. Doesn't work. Because you felt the need to go over there by yourself and take it up with him. You didn't call Jay and say, hey, by the way, I paid you $10,000. Why don't you come with me? I'm going to go over there. You didn't do that. No. You didn't say, hey, bring your boy, bring your guy, whatever. No, you went over there by yourself. Right? Okay. I'm lost. You pay this guy $10,000 and you don't even say, hey, I know I'm calling him up. Hold on. I know I'm calling him up and saying, hey, by the way, come with me because I paid you all this money. Come with me and let's go make this work. Let's make this right. But you didn't do that. Okay? And then beyond that, you want to say that they happen to be there at the same time you were now. Okay? They just happened to be there at the same time you were, and he happened to know that you had a gun, and he happened to put a gun to your head and take your gun away from you. That's what you want people to believe. Just listening to it said by somebody else, does that make a lot of sense to you? Why does he need your gun? Why?
I don't know. All I know is...
he had a gun.
Did you see news about the murder?
No.
Didn't see anything?
I didn't see... I scrolled... the only thing I really looked up was the whole thing that happened with me in Orange County.
Okay. As today, when you walked in this room, did you know those two people were dead?
No, I saw something, but I didn't read, so I didn't know they were dead.
What did you see?
I saw 2 people murdered, and then I saw something else, and another person got shot on the sidewalk.
He denies it as if it was an incriminating question. However, it only adds to the suspicion. It's almost like he blocks himself from all information regarding the victims, as if only reading about their passing on Facebook was enough to put him in prison. It is clear he's lying. The next big reveal is about to come.
Why did you lie to us about the gun?
I was scared.
Why?
Because I didn't know what happened.
What happened to?
What happened with my gun? I know the wrong people got a hold of it.
Because as far as you knew, because like I said, we didn't even ask, and you brought that up yourself. That doesn't make a lot of sense that you would volunteer that information, because you knew as soon as you heard the name, you knew where this is going, and you knew those people were dead. Are you assuming that your gun was used to kill these people?
That's what I'm assuming.
Okay. Because they stole it from you. And are you telling us the truth about where you purchased that gun?
Yeah. At the pawn shop in Winter Garden.
If you took a polygraph right now, would it show that you told the truth?
Yeah.
About what?
About me going there talking to them, my gun being taken away from me, and me going to Alchemy, and me going to Daytona.
And if they asked you if you shot those people, what would it show?
That I'm telling the truth and I didn't do that.
6 hours in, the investigators decide to take a break to gather more information on Amelia's side of the case. But before they leave, the suspect asks for a blankie.
Fetch me my stress blankie!
All right. We'll be back in just a minute then. We're going to go talk to her some more then.
Time is now approximately 16:30 hours.
Blanket or something?
Yeah, well, I think my one partner tried to find you one.
It's cold.
All right, buddy. We'll be back. We'll get you.
That's when I was confronted.
Just before we leave, this is what I would tell you, okay? In this situation, when down the line people are trying to figure out the punishment, who gets punished for this, they want to see a couple things. And of course, the truth's one thing, remorse is another. But the things you're telling us, we have to do our jobs and we're going to check it out.
That's fine.
If it shows that you were lying, and this goes for Amelia too.
Yeah.
If this shows that you were lying and that you were trying to bring some innocent person into
No,
this,
I'm telling you now, you could check the cameras, I don't know if the cameras could see.
well, like I said, you may have been
Yeah.
there. Like I said, but that's right, that you very well could have met with Jay and this guy, okay? But the problem is that gun thing for you right now.
Yeah.
Okay, that one's, and the fact that you were we had a neighbor ID you, right? That Nissan Altima, describe you to a T.
Because I was there.
Yeah, that's why we knew you were there. We knew that you were there. And then you conveniently don't have your phone on. I mean, those things all add up to a lot of smoke. And where there's smoke, there's fire. I think both of us are totally baffled after talking with both you and your wife for the whole day. How two people like you end up in a situation like this.
It's a shitty situation, and I hate to say it.
It's a shitty situation, but because I'm at the police station being interrogated, not because 2 people were murdered.
And it's compounded by the fact that one of you is trying to send the other one to prison for the rest of their lives, because you're telling totally different stories.
And that's what I've said. Like, you could check our phones. She talked to Jay regarding either taking care of 2 people or taking care of the issue, and we paid him, specifically him.
Detective Ferreira will take lead again. However, he won't be as friendly as before. The proper confrontation is about to take place. The detectives will now be more aggressive in their responses and less acceptable of hearing more lies. The pressure will be increased. We will observe more cooperation between detectives. It's their way of saying they're 2 players against 1.
Detective Brian Ferrer of the Atlanta Police Department, Detective Michael Morris is also present. We are back into room 4 on July 26, 2018 at approximately 17:55 hours. We were back talking to Mr. Joshua. How do you say your last name?
Ramsawmy, the W.
Ramsawmy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You remember you've been sworn in and you understand that,
Yes.
your rights are still in place and everything. Okay. So obviously we want to follow up with you because, we went back and talked to Amelia.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, we're just trying to understand. She's saying one thing, you're saying another, and we think probably the truth's somewhere in the middle. You understand what we're saying?
Yeah.
Truth somewhere in the middle. The fact of the matter is, the investigation's not going to stop. Okay, you understand that, right?
Yeah.
And you understand that, okay, so now we know who Jay is, and we're going to talk to Jay, all right? And
His silence is most likely the sign of high stress. This Jay story was his only line of defense. Jay did it, not me, and Amelia paid him. But if the detectives already talked to Jay and found out that none of what the suspect said was true, his stress must be going through the roof.
Let's put it all on the table for a second here, okay? What are you and Jay normally dealing with? What have you dealt with in the past?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. My wife has been his friend since before we got together.
Okay.
More than 6 years, 7 years ago.
You two ever exchanged any drugs?
No. Never.
Have you ever sold any of your pain medication that you got since you shot yourself in the leg?
Oh, I gave it to him. Yeah, I gave it to him. I didn't sell anything to him.
Wow.
Yeah,
You gave it to Jay?
Yeah, I gave it to Jay that night.
Why?
He came over. He said he was taking some. I don't remember what exactly he was taking. I think he was saying some oxycodone or something for some pain, and he ran out of medicine. I said, you could have mine because I don't take it no longer.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't sell him anything.
When did you stop taking yours?
3 months ago. I started using CBD. I'm not gonna lie.
What's that?
It's cannabis oil.
Okay.
Yeah. It helps with nerve regeneration.
When did you stop taking yours? You said 3 months ago?
Yeah.
When did you last refill your prescription for it?
Same thing. About 3 months ago.
Okay.
I had about 50 of them left, if that.
And how many did you give him?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah, I don't use any of them.
How did you give them to him?
I just gave it to him in a bag.
Why in a bag?
Because I didn't want to give him my prescription bottle.
Okay.
He gave it in a bag because it's illegal. According to Florida laws, if you do not hold a medical license, the intent to sell a controlled substance is a felony, and those convicted face up to 4 years in county jail.
Was that was in the CVS parking lot?
No, that was at our house.
At the house?
Yeah.
And that's when you gave him how much?
It was like $1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was on the pain medicine and I was on gabapentin, but I stopped both.
Okay. You know, again, I think what we're seeing is two people that have made some bad decisions. Okay. Now, are you saying that Jay was the one who did this?
I don't know.
You don't know. All right.
Is it your understanding when you met with Jay over there and these pills and this money was exchanged that it was for him taking care of this situation?
Yeah.
Okay, so you knew that.
Yeah, I knew that.
But you're saying that it was Amelia that was giving him this, but the pills are yours.
Yeah, the pills are mine. I told him. He told me, hey, he had something happen. He said he was on medication. He ran out. I said, I don't use mine. I haven't used mine for X amount of months.
So what did you, when you gave him the pills and that money that night in the parking lot, what did you expect to happen after that?
I expected he was going to get some type of money back from everything. Because he said, okay, you have this pills. I can use some. I can sell some. I can get you money back. And then he said, with the money that we're giving him, he said he's going to work out something where everything is resolved. I said, okay.
Okay.
And I mean, you could check my
So
phone.
this was like going to be an investment for you guys to get money to pay it back. It wasn't for him to go kill them.
No, from my understanding, he said he was going to take care of it. I don't know what him and Amelia said before I got in the car, because Amelia came back in the house, said Jay's outside, he needs $1,000, and I talked to him, and then I came back inside. I got the medicine, gave it to him. He said specifically, I don't want to get Amelia in trouble. I don't want you to get in trouble. Amelia's like a sister to me. I've known her for like forever basically, and how that he's going to go ahead and make everything correct and right for us.
What a nice guy. Good Samaritan Jay sounds really believable, doesn't he? If that was the truth, and Jay was voluntarily helping the suspect and his wife make it right, that would be true relief for them. Why would he sell out one person that truly wanted to help them out? This makes no sense.
So you were expecting money back?
Yeah.
Not for him to go kill these people?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting anybody to get killed.
So you paid? Okay, I think I'm starting to understand this. So you gave him those pills to sell for you?
Yeah, to get the money. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So how much did he say he was going to get you for selling the pills?
He said about $25 each. I gave him about 50.
Okay, so let's do the math.
That's like $2,000, I think.
Okay, so $2,000.
So I said, all right, we're investing another. We gave him $10,000 too, because he told us in total it'd be $10,000 for everything for us.
Think about
for
this.
everything?
Think about this for a second. Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're okay.
You, by your own admission, don't know this Jay Prasad very well.
No, I don't.
Okay.
But my wife. The thing is, Amelia vouched for him.
When you
like a
went,
brother.
we're giving $9,000 to a guy that you don't know, who's now become a drug dealer, hoping that he's going to get it back to you. I mean, if you were us, would you believe that story?
Yeah.
You're smarter than that, dude.
I know. I understand.
You are
that.
smarter than that.
Like I said, that Thursday or Friday night, he came to our house. I gave him 50. It was about 50 painkillers.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was going to sell them. The very next day, we gave him. The same day, we gave him. I think it was $1,000. And then in total, the money we gave him was $10,000.
And the bottom line is, you haven't seen that money or any other money from Jay Prasad.
Correct.
And you have not had any. That Saturday night when you met him and you paid him.
Yeah, he video called me on Sunday.
Okay.
I think at 3:00 in the morning or something like that.
Okay. And that's the last time
That
you
was
ever
the
spoke?
last time. I didn't even answer. I was sleeping.
Okay. All right.
That
So
was
you
the
didn't even
last
talk
time.
to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
You
then-
didn't reach out to him after you
I
found
did,
out
yeah,
these
yeah.
people were dead.
No. I didn't reach out to anybody on that Sunday night. The Monday, Amelia said, or I texted him, and she said, "Oh, how something about Cynthia is asking questions," and I said, "Okay," and then she tried calling Jay multiple times, and I could give you our login for our Sprint phone bill, and you can see that she called it multiple times on Monday.
Somebody used her phone to call him. Let's put it that way.
No.
No.
She called. I was there. I was sitting on the toilet, dropping a dump, and I was like, "Are you trying to call him?" She said, "I'm calling him for private."
Important piece of information there. Now we know the suspect was sitting on the toilet, secretly listening to his wife, while she ordered one takeaway killer.
Why did she call him from private?
I don't know.
This was Jay?
Yeah, because he wasn't answering any of her replying back to her messages or anything like that.
When was this?
On Monday.
After you guys gave him money?
Yeah.
His tone of voice became excited, happy that the detective seemed to be engaged in their conversation, doing something else than stretching his legs. However, that was pretend play. The detective laughs.
You think he kind of took your money and took off?
I have no idea.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what it sounds
Yeah.
like.
I think I have a very clear picture of what happened now.
Yeah. He scammed you.
Listen, I'll be honest with you guys. This is what I think happened. I think you guys were trying to get out of this situation. That's one way you saw to do it. He scammed you out of money, and at that point, you had no choice but to go over there and kill these two people. So, I mean,
His objection to being accused of having violently murdered two people while covering up a failed bank heist is once again, nah.
that's exactly applying the fact that I've done this job for 27 years and just common sense to it, and the whole story about you tossing the gun in Daytona, all of that. That's all it comes back to, and I think anybody listening to this story will.
To all those listening to this story, thus it all comes back to Joshua Ramsawmy being guilty of killing these two people.
We're going to check out your story, obviously. We owe that to you. We owe that to the two people that are dead and their family. Before we do, I always ask people this. Is there anything... Okay, we're going to check... We need to check her TD account with her dad, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, all right.
I know
So that's
that
one
for
thing
sure.
that we can check and verify. Okay, what else? Tell us what else we can check.
I just bought a whole bunch of appliances for the house.
Okay,
You
we
go
know
to
you
our
did
house?
that, and she's admitting that we know you guys were at the Walgreens. We don't even have to look at the video because you both are saying that. We know that, but what else? What else can we of what you're telling us?
All I know is at 11 o'clock, 11 something, I called Amelia's phone. She didn't answer.
Okay, we know that happened.
I said,
right.
okay, that's fine. I said, all right. I turned my phone off. I'm like, all right, I'll just keep to myself.
So, I probably asked you this already, Josh, but when did you hear about this murder, about these people being killed?
Maybe, I think Wednesday, not even, I didn't even really, probably Thursday.
Okay, did you see their pictures or figure out who they were?
I saw the pictures and I was like, holy shit.
And what did you think?
I was like, what the hell is going on?
This is most likely the truth. Murdering 2 people and then seeing it on social media must have been quite surreal. He definitely thought at some point, what the hell is going on?
Okay, did you ask your wife about what happened?
I didn't ask her anything.
Why not? I mean, to me that would seem like a natural thing.
For me, well, I asked her, hey, did you talk to Cynthia? And she didn't answer me. And she said, oh, she's supposed to call me on Friday. Okay. And that's what she said. And I know she talked to Cynthia on the phone.
Did it ever come up that Jay Prasad had gone over there and killed them? Did you ever talk with your wife about who?
I didn't.
Did you and your wife ever talk about who may have killed these 2 people?
No. I told her.
This is only natural. They talked about this as soon as it came up. They stole from them. Hearing about the murders in the family that they robbed would definitely caught their attention.
I remember I said, you talked to Jay. Did he talk back to you? Has Jay talked back to you? And I told her I blocked him on Snapchat. I was like, I don't know what's going on. And I said, you could check my phone. I have him blocked on Snapchat. I think she still has him as a friend, so I don't know if they've talked after that or anything like that. I just know for me, I blocked him. And I haven't talked back to him.
Did you ever tell your wife that you killed these 2 people, and if she said anything, you would kill her?
No.
And her whole family?
No. Never would have said that.
But you and your wife, after you found out that it was Cynthia Stack and Sean Stack that were killed that morning in their apartment, never discussed their murder, who might have done it, and this might come back to you. Did you ever think that?
Yeah, we talked about that.
What was that conversation?
Yesterday.
What did you guys talk about yesterday?
I said, we're going on a cruise. This is kind of crazy with all the stuff going on right now. I told her, I saw something on the news when I was looking up the situation with the Coy Police Department because I wanted to see if my name was out as far as if reporters or anything got my name because they had my number.
He admitted he was Googling his name to see if it was related to the newest crime story.
And then she told me, it's crazy, like, what happened to them or whatever. And I was like, and I asked her, I was like, did you talk to Jay back? And she's like, no, Jay didn't talk back to me as yet. So I left it at that. I woke up this morning, dropped Julian to school, came back home, got dressed. I went back by my parents' house, and then I went to work.
But you're a smart guy. When you saw this and heard this, did you think about this? This is going to lead back to us.
Yeah.
I mean, all we have to do is file, and obviously all we did was file the money.
Yeah, I did.
Well, and I another question. I know this is a tough one to answer, but did you think like, hey, maybe we should go to the police, or maybe I should go to the police?
Well, that was my instinct at first, and then she told me, Jay said they were gonna get it handled or whatever, and I said, this guy gave you this money. So from what you're telling me, right? He gave you this money. We deposited, we use it, whatever. And then you're telling me the ladies or her son stole money from, or his son stole money from him before.
Right. So I will tell you the same thing that we told Amelia, Josh, that have you told us the truth today? Yeah. Okay. You initially lied about the gun.
I'll say that on recording. I'm scared as shit. I lied about the gun, but from when I left the house at about 3:30, somewhere around there, I got to Cynthia's house, knocked on the door. Sean answered the door, and I sat and talked with both of them like they were family to me.
Okay.
He killed them.
And I found out their situation. Like, she told me she got arrested before. She's trying to do better for Sean. And Sean was telling me he's trying to get a job, but he keeps to himself because his father passed away. I mean, we talked about a lot. And Sean even told me he had some random guy come to the door before that. And I was like, you guys just watch out, with everything going on.
So you told them about this situation with Jay?
I didn't tell him the situation with Jay. I just said be careful.
What did he say about this random guy?
He said he came to the door knocking on one night. He knocked on the back of the door. They have, I guess, 2 entrances, back of the door, and then another night they knocked on the front of the door, but he didn't know who it was, so he didn't answer the door.
Okay.
But after I got done talking to them around 11 o'clock, I got in my car, sat down. I was vaping in my car, called Amelia. I texted her. I said, yo, or something like that. And then I called her cousins. I said, all right, nobody knows where she is. I'm like, okay, I'll go to Alchemy. And that's when the guy, after that, that's when the guy approached me. And I should have called the cops then.
He approached you in Alchemy?
No, he approached me in the car before I left to go to Alchemy.
Okay, so you were at the Jefferson Street apartment.
I was at the residence,
Okay.
yes.
And you were in your car.
I was sitting in my car.
And he put a gun to your head.
Put a gun to my head. I had my gun sitting next to my shifter in my car, by my cup holder.
Let me ask you this. When you went to Alchemy, so that it's like the apartments are between two roads, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you went to Alchemy, did you go like pull out of their apartment and go to Jefferson, or did you go back? I'm sorry, to Polk, or did you go back to Jefferson?
I guess that was Jefferson.
Okay, because theirs is like the second to last apartment right there on the bottom floor. Did you go just one past it and make a right or left, or did you go backwards?
It was back. Let me see. When I left, I made a right out of the apartment complex.
Okay, yeah, you would have gone back to Jefferson then.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the way you came in as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I believe so.
This guy, which way did he approach you from?
Okay, so say if their apartment is here, the last apartment's here.
Right.
There's a dumpster here.
Yeah.
I was sitting in my car here vaping. He came from this way. Literally, like, out of nowhere, blindside, because there was a white car parked next to me.
Right. Why did you decide to sit there and vape?
I was trying to get a hold of Amelia. And I was stressed. I was like, and that's when he came up to my car and was like, yo, give me your piece. He saw my gun in the center console. And I froze. I couldn't move. I was like, listen. I was like, don't. He was like, oh, give me your piece. And he said something else.
Did he say something to indicate that he was with Jay? Or that
He said, all he said was, we've been watching you. And it clicked in my head like, the only people we ever said anything about to this was Jay. And that was it.
Okay. I mean, so again, just to wrap up my part, I think Detective Ferrer may have a couple more questions for you, but you told us the truth doesn't change. As far as this goes, the only thing you can tell us to help verify this is the bank account. Can you think of anything else? Let me ask you this. When we go talk to Jay, what is he going to say?
I have no idea.
Okay.
He'll tell you that we gave him the money.
And are things would you have expected your wife to say that you did this if you didn't do it? Are things that bad?
I mean, she said I forced her to get married. So,
but I mean, she's basically sending you to prison for the rest of your life.
I would never expect that from her at all.
You don't seem that surprised, though.
The second investigator is far less tolerant of the suspect's story.
No, I mean, I am, but it's like, to take in everything now, it's like, I don't know, like, if she talked to Jay, if, like, who else talked to her about anything.
All right, let's kind of, I want to go back over that. Okay, so, and then, we'll go back over a couple of things. So Jay comes into the picture because Cynthia won't stop calling Amelia.
Yeah, and I think that was Thursday night. Thursday or Friday night.
Okay.
One or the other. I know we met with him 3 nights.
Is it because Cynthia won't stop calling Amelia, or is it because you guys are trying to flip these pills for cash quick? What's the more? Is it more that you try?
Well, no. He came to the house first
for the pills.
No, he came to the house first
Mm-hmm.
because Amelia texted him, "Hey, come to the house" or something like that. Because
Mm-hmm.
they were talking outside for about 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in the house. She came back in the house. She said, "Oh, Jay wants to talk to you."
Mm-hmm.
And while we were conversating about, him and Amelia talked, and he's gonna need some money, I said, "Okay, that's fine."
Hold on. What did he say him and Amelia talked about?
All he said was that Amelia told me the situation. He said he's known Amelia for a number of years,
Mm-hmm.
like a sister,
Mm-hmm.
and he wants to go ahead and not get us involved.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to go ahead and do what he has to do to go ahead and make things right. And I told him, "Hey," and I said, he's saying, "I know you guys owe them some money or something like that, and he can basically get some, I don't know, flip money or something." And that's when I told him, "Hey, he was like, I hurt myself," because I was telling him about my leg, and how I stopped using my medication and I started using CBD. And he said, yeah, I ran out of medicine. And I told him, I have in the house. And I told him, it's probably about 50 pills or so. And I said, if you need to use them, whatever you need to do, sell the rest. Simple. And he said, okay. I gave it to him. I threw my medicine bottle in the recycle bin because I didn't want him to have any of my, my name information, my doctor's information. I gave him the bag with the medicine, and then I gave him the money too.
How much money?
I think it was like $1,000 that night.
Now, here's the thing: if I'm in your situation, I got a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money problems. I guess you're trying to figure out money. It's not easy to just give somebody $1,000. Okay, so you gave him $1,000 with the understanding of what?
That he was gonna either buy something to flip and make more money, or I don't like, and that's why I gave him the pills too.
So the only thing that you talked to him about was basically making you money to get back to that. Yeah. Okay, so you gave him money to go buy. What kind of drugs did you say he was gonna buy?
He didn't tell me what he was gonna buy.
But he was gonna flip it.
Yeah, he was gonna flip the money and get. And
how much was he gonna take for doing that?
He was like, this is Amelia, this is my sister, I'm going to do her a favor.
Okay. So he's going to sell the pills and flip whatever drugs he bought.
Whatever he's buying.
So,
because that's why we had to give him the $10,000.
That was to buy drugs?
Yeah.
To flip?
Yeah. To whatever he was going to do with the money to go ahead and make this work.
So let's hold on a second. So now, see, that we've got a disconnect now. I don't know. Do you see this disconnect? I see it. Okay. So take care of the problem for you and him was Jay was basically going to buy drugs and flip them and give you money so you.
But I don't know what Amelia and him had a conversation about.
Okay. Well, does it really matter? Because the understanding was you were going to give him drugs. I mean, give him money so he could buy drugs to give you guys money.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's this? I don't know what Amelia talked to him about stuff. Obviously, you guys came to an agreement. You and him came to an agreement.
Yeah, but like I said, that's what he
told
me.
No, listen to me, all right? Because now you're starting to lose this again. And again, we're going to keep going. I don't know what they talked about. I don't know what they talked about. No, it's very simple. You gave him money, okay, to try and flip drugs. And the reason why is because she was turning up the heat on you guys.
Correct.
She wasn't letting go.
Correct.
Okay, and you go over there that night, okay? Now this whole thing like, oh, it could be this guy, I don't know. We've been watching you. That could be 3 guys down the street, okay? That's very, So, where I start getting lost again is, you've been intimating that this Jay guy might have something to do with this.
Correct.
But really, that's not the case, because you guys never talked to him about going over there and doing anything.
Yes, Amelia, I think Amelia gave him her address.
How's that?
She said, I have the address.
Where did she have it at?
I don't know.
She said that. You heard her say that.
No, that's what he told me. Oh, I have her address. I have the phone number.
Well, okay, well, how can we again, it's like bits and pieces, isn't it? It's like, why do we keep getting bits and pieces?
But it's all...
Okay. So if that's the case, right? All right, so let's go this route then, because I'm lost again. Okay, so if the case is, you gave him, how much altogether did you give him?
$10,000.
$10,000, okay, and you gave it to him on a Friday and a Saturday or something like that?
Between Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, okay. And then, so you give him this money either to buy drugs or go take care of the problem. We don't really know, because you're assuming that's what Amelia talked to him about. But you don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know.
To your knowledge, the only thing that he was going to do is buy drugs to give you guys the money for selling the drugs. That's it, right? Okay. But in the other world here, your world here of, oh no, Amelia paid him and maybe he was going to go take care of the problem, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Why would you go over there on Wednesday? Tuesday. Why would you go there on Tuesday?
To go talk to them to make
Why?
Because to tell her we're going to give the money back.
But that defeats the whole purpose of giving him money to take care of the problem.
From my understanding, the money we gave him was to get the money back. That's why I went there on Wednesday to see her.
Okay, so there really was never any indication that they were going to go over there and take care of the problem.
What do you mean? No, for me,
no.
Jay was going to go ahead and get the money back.
That's it.
That's it.
And he wasn't going to go over there and hurt them.
Correct.
He wasn't going to go over there and do anything. No.
Correct.
So, but again, so you go over there on Wednesday. So really, Jay didn't do this.
It was on Tuesday.
Jay didn't do this.
On Tuesday.
Because that's kind of the feeling I got when we came in here the last time, is that you guys paid Jay, and Jay basically came in and did this. Let's agree right now that Jay didn't do this.
I don't know.
How do you not know?
Because I don't know Jay like that. That's the problem. I've seen Jay maybe 4 times, 5 times.
So you give.
And the only reason
are you saying that basically?
I feel like Amelia paid him the money to go kill them. That's how I.
But you paid him the money.
We both did.
Yeah,
we both did.
And I'm sure that you both came to an agreement as to why you were going to pay him the money in the beginning.
My understanding was to get some type of monetary.
So why would you go behind your back and talk? Again, I get lost. Why would you go behind your back? Your husband. Your wife. Why would she go behind your back and tell him to go take care of business?
I don't know.
She's not that kind of person. Let's
you should
be real.
go ahead and look her.
Hey, let me explain something to you. You know who's all over that
records.
account? You know who's all over that account? You are.
What
You know,
account?
okay. You know,
I know that.
You know who's eyeballs deep into this? You are. Okay, so don't say, this whole thing of, oh, she came home and I just did this. That's bullshit. I'll tell you right now. Oh,
I'll
yes,
take
it
a
is. You want to take a polygraph? Good. Let's set it up right now. You gonna go take it right now?
Right now.
Okay.
That's fine.
We'll set it up right now. So, but in the meantime, let's go work on that. Let's go set that up. In the meantime,
all I know is Amelia came home that
listen,
day.
you keep saying all I know, and I'm telling you, listen, okay? Because you got to understand something here, okay?
Okay.
If you care about Julian at all, do you really care about that kid?
Yeah, I do. I love him like
Okay,
he's my own
so let's
son.
talk about the only innocent person in this whole thing, amongst you guys,
Correct.
is Julian.
Yes.
This little 7-year-old boy that you take to school every day,
Mm-hmm.
that you love like your own. You're willing to see his mother go to jail for the rest of her life, is what you're telling me. Yes. Because one way or another, listen, one way or another we got to deal with this, and somebody's going to be held responsible. And responsible is very different things, okay? But if she gets in trouble, because you're basically saying that she paid this guy Jay to go kill her and the grandson, fine. If that's the way you want to go, then guess what? When she gets in trouble for it, she's going away. And then Julian grows up without a mother, okay? Now, I don't know about that, but to me, if that's not the case, that's a really shitty thing to do.
I understand that.
And you're going to have to, well, okay.
And that's why I'm telling you now, that if that's what it has to be, because for me, all I know is she gave Jay the money. For me,
you gave him the money too.
Exactly, and you're right.
Don't see what you're doing. You keep doing that.
Okay,
Stop doing that. You gave him the money,
correct.
both of you.
Both of us.
So
correct.
guess what? If
We're
she's
both liable.
yeah,
Correct.
exactly.
Both,
So one way or another, you're in trouble.
Correct.
Okay. So let's figure that
And
out.
I'll own up to that. But
you're gonna own up to the fact that you gave this guy money to go kill these two people.
I did not. No.
Yes.
No, I'm not owning up to
That's
that.
right. Well, it doesn't work
I'll
both
own
ways.
up to the fact
Josh,
that
it
I
doesn't
gave
work
him
both
money.
ways. You can't sit here and say she did it. You can't sit there and
Yeah,
say she
and
did it
I
when you're there with her. You're there
Exactly.
with her.
You're right. You're right.
So don't say she went outside and had a conversation. That's bullshit.
No,
again.
it's not. You can.
No,
okay,
it's
listen,
not.
listen.
Josh,
You can
stop.
ask
You
her
listen
par-
for a second. Now
You can
listen.
ask her parents
Listen
that
to me,
night.
Josh.
Her
Josh,
parents were
I don't
like-
want to ask her parents. I'm talking to you. You're a grown man.
I understand.
All right. You can't say that she's responsible for it. You can't say that.
We both are. In
That's
that
right.
sense. And
So
I
now
have
these two
no
people are
problem with
dead.
that.
You gave somebody money, and you're saying these two people are dead because of it.
And I don't know if that's the reason why. All I know is Amelia.
How could you say you don't know that's
I
the
was
reason why?
sitting. I remember this day. I was sitting on the toilet. She
I
said,
don't want to hear about
"I'm
you sitting on
gonna
the
talk."
toilet.
If you weren't in the room, then where were you?
The toilet.
Then you know what happened? You lost your temper.
No.
Yes.
No, it's not.
Yes. It
I
is.
did not
You
lose my
lost your
temper.
temper and you got scared.
Last question I have for you,
Yeah.
Josh. So you're sitting there in the parking lot. This guy comes up and robs you while you're vaping in your car, takes your gun. Does he take anything else?
Just my gun.
Doesn't
That's
ask
it.
for money or anything else?
Nothing.
Okay.
He said, "We were watching you. We know why you're here." And I said,
Okay.
"What the fuck?"
So then you drove off right after that happened?
Yeah, I drove off straight to
Okay.
Alchemy.
So he let you get the gun out of the. He let you get the gun out of the console.
It was sitting. He got a gun to my head. He said, "Give me the piece."
Okay. So
And
he let you.
I was vaping in this hand, and I had my hand on the steering wheel, so or my hand down here, something like that.
It was either this or that. You guys choose what's better. Have I mentioned how he said, "Give me the piece"?
Your contention is you left that apartment that night. You left your house that night because you and Amelia had a fight,
Correct.
and that's why your phone was off. What made you decide to go over to Cynthia's apartment at that time?
The frustration with the fight we had, and the frustration with the whole thing she was telling me about the money.
Well, explain that to me. Help me understand.
So, again, I went over there. We were arguing, and I was like, we're in this problem with money now.
Okay, see, there's where I get lost again. Remember, you said you didn't know what she talked to him about, but she just said to you. So again, so you know then that she didn't talk to him about doing anything else. You're nodding your head yes.
I don't know.
Well, no, you just said it. You just said.
He desperately clings to his act, trying to act chill, and slips. He doesn't know anymore whether to be relaxed, in his mind, trustworthy, or confrontational. Being emotional in his mind means being guilty.
No, that's not what you said. You just said we paid Jay to get our money back. And if she did say handle the situation, that means you know what she talked to him about. So one way or another, we're lost. Josh, it's just going to keep compounding, Josh. Compounding and compounding, and it's not going away. And I told you from the beginning, if this is something that happened that got out of control, then we can understand it, and that works. You got your back up against the wall. You're probably scared shitless because she's going to go to the cops.
If I tell you the truth, will Amelia get in trouble?
Huh?
If I tell you the truth, will Amelia get in trouble?
No, if you tell us the truth, no.
I don't want anything to happen to her or
Okay,
Julian.
we need this. She needs this. Julian needs this. What happened?
That Thursday night, she told me she's going to call Jay and have him take care of it. And I said, what do you mean have him take care of it? What's going on? She said, no, they're going to take care of her. I said, all right.
He just responded, all right, to the statement of his cold-blooded killer wife, who admitted she was going to murder a witness to her failed bank fraud. What about the question he asked the detective? Will Amelia be in trouble if I tell you the truth? And then his truth portrays her in the worst way possible. How would that not get Amelia in trouble?
Well, now I'm trying to figure out what to believe, because now you're saying she's not involved, she is involved. How
she is
this?
Involved because she hit Jay up that night and said, I know Jay can go ahead and handle the situation. I just don't want to get her. I don't want her to get in trouble for this. I'll take them. Whatever it is you have to give to her, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Josh, selling out your wife is not heroic in any way. Please stop.
Jeff, what you just said is really no different from what you've been telling us all day. I mean, that's not some new revelation that you're claiming that she paid Jay Prasad to take care of this woman, or
Correct.
I guess you added it a little bit more clearly that that's what the intent of it was. But
and you can check her phone records too.
No, Josh, listen to me. Listen. If you're going to stand up, we need to stand up, okay? The fact of the matter is, your phone being all... Let's stack this all up, okay? Your gun's gone. We don't know who took it. It just happens to be gone. The brand new gun that you bought. And you sat here for, 15 minutes telling us why you threw it over a bridge. All right? Every time I keep pointing out something to you that just doesn't make sense, it keeps, you keep flipping it. You keep changing it, okay? That doesn't look good, all right?
No, it doesn't. We could think of even more. Suspect's phone being off. Suspect knowing his way around the house. Suspect spying on the victims prior to crime. And suspect's lies, blaming everyone else but himself.
And then I'll tell you now, Jay hit me up and said, we need $9,000 more. And I told him we only have...
For drugs.
5,000.
9,000 more for drugs.
No.
Well, why did you give him the drugs then in the first place?
He was gonna kill him. He needed him. He said for his whatever his pain or something happened to his leg or something.
So now, Jay is just a guy who needed pain medications for his leg. The detectives are done with this. You'll see a sharp and sudden switch.
Who killed these people?
It had to have been Jay's people.
Is Jay that big of a guy? Does he have that kind of people?
He said he knows people.
What did he say? Let's talk about the conversation you had with him about what he was going to do.
That night, Amelia came back in the house and said, Jay wants to talk to you. She said Jay has people to go ahead and take care of the situation. They wanted $25,000. She told him we didn't have $25,000, so we paid them $1,000. He said he needs some material or something, and from that, the next day he said, I need more. We paid him, I think it was supposed to be $4,000, but we forgot we took out the $1,000 from a $3,000 band. So that was $4,000, and the next day we gave him $6,000.
With the understanding that he was going to do what?
Kill these people.
Kill them?
Correct.
Okay. And when was he supposed to kill them?
At their house.
When?
He didn't give me a day.
So they hired a hitman, who didn't specify when the murder will be done, who will be killed, and then sent people who robbed Josh to use Josh's gun to commit the crime, all for $9,000. Sounds like a scam to me.
Okay.
Is this a direct conversation you had with Jay, or is this what she's telling you that Jay said?
This is a direct conversation we both had with him.
Okay, you were both, and where was that conversation?
On Snapchat.
Okay. All right. So you and her are having this conversation over Snapchat with him.
About killing somebody?
She said to take care of it.
On Snapchat?
Correct.
Who's Snapchat? Who's Snapchat
I talked
account?
to him twice about, he said that they're going to need $9,000 more, and I told him he already gave him $6,000 or something like that. And that,
What's your account name?
it should be Drummer Kid, I think. DRUMMERKIDD.
Drummer Kid.
Yeah.
And what is
1990. 1990.
So the year you were born.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I don't know his Snapchat name because my wife added him on my Snapchat.
What is Emily's? I'm sorry, Amelia.
Millie X3 or something like that.
M-I...
Millie X3 or X3 Millie. I don't remember because my phone saves it as contacts.
Okay.
I think Jay's phone number in my phone is AB or something like that in my phone.
Okay. So you have this conversation, and exactly what day was that again?
That was Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay. You have that conversation. Okay, so what happens on Sunday?
Nothing.
What happens on Monday?
Nothing.
Tuesday?
Nothing. Didn't hear back. Well, Monday, that's when the lady called her again, and she was like, nothing happened. And I said, okay. She said, do you need to come home now? I left work. I came home, and she said, I tried getting in contact with Jay. He didn't answer. And then I talked to him, and I was like, nothing happened. He said, yeah, they took the money. I feel bad because my money, I feel like shit because my money's involved with it too.
My money. Not my wife, my adoptive son, my work that I love, but my money from the bank fraud.
And then after that, he said it'll get handled or something like that, and I left it alone.
Why do you set this thing in motion with all, we're getting to the point, okay, you've now paid somebody a fairly substantial amount of money to kill somebody or to take care of somebody, and then on Wednesday you go expose yourself to these people. And like I said, I have no doubt.
Do you understand what he's saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go over there and you're like making yourself known. People see you. They obviously identified you. You spend a great deal of time. And you know what, Josh? I have no doubt. The one thing that we can tell for sure is that when you went over there that afternoon, it wasn't to kill him because you were there for too long. It's in the middle of the day. People are going to see you.
Yeah,
so if you've already set in motion this plan to have this thing taken care of, why would you go over there and do that? That defies common sense. And you're not. You know what? If nothing, you and your wife, you're not idiots. You did a pretty good job of covering your tracks. But that just defies. Did he take your money and run with it? Is that what you thought at that point? Because nothing had happened.
I don't know. All I know is that she said that she tried to get in contact with him, and I know that same Wednesday or Tuesday that I was there, she said she's going to talk to her friend Melissa, because Melissa talks to Jay too, and that she was going to be with Melissa if Jay talks back to her.
Now there's also a Melissa involved. Good job, Josh, keeping anyone else from trouble.
And that's the last I heard of that.
Okay. Just so before we wrap up, with the cash and the pills and everything else that you
I gave him the cash.
Okay, so how much cash was it again?
$10,000.
Altogether.
Altogether.
How many pills?
$1,000 on Friday.
Okay.
Or either Thursday or Friday. 1,000. Oh no. That had to have been Friday. So $1,000 on Friday when I came home. $3,000 on Saturday.
Okay.
And then I think that had to have been.
Why not all of it at once either?
He didn't want it all of it at once.
He didn't. Why not?
Well, what me and Amelia discussed, we weren't going to give him all the money at once.
Okay.
They didn't give it all at once because the money was stolen. They didn't want a big amount of cash withdrawn from their new bank account.
It's like a contractor.
All right. So altogether, so it's $10,000 cash. How many pills do you think you gave him?
Maybe 50.
Okay. So maybe close to 12. What did we decide? How much?
11,
per pill?
12,000.
So okay, about let's say $13,000
all together with the 10 or whatever he gave.
So somebody is going to commit someone else's double murder for $13,000.
He said the guys that he knows just need money. That's
Okay.
all he said.
All right. I wanted to make sure on that.
So you had that in depth of a conversation.
And your wife was present for that.
My wife was in
So
the party.
why would you say this before? I didn't want her, so she won't get in trouble if I tell you this. Why did you say that?
I don't want her to get in trouble for this.
Well, then tell us the truth. How about that?
That is the truth.
Oh. If you don't want her to get in trouble, okay. If you don't want her to get in trouble, then you need to tell us the truth.
I'm
all right?
telling you the
No,
truth.
you're not. Everything we've talked about. Why now? All of a sudden, the gun going off the bridge, all these different things have not been the truth. Now all of a sudden you are telling us the truth. Why is that?
I just want to make things right.
No, I don't think you do.
Josh, I think you shot and killed these people.
Yeah.
And if that's what happened and you're lying to us, you absolutely are getting your wife Millie, I don't know if that's what you call her, that's what happened, then you absolutely are throwing her under the bus. She could have set in motion something and she didn't know what you were going to do. And that's what she's claiming. She's claiming that she didn't know that you were going to do that. But yeah, if you don't want, I would tell you this, if your objective is to not get her in trouble, and what both of us truly believe happened, that you went over there and killed both those people, then you need to tell us the truth about that.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, but you conspired to have them killed.
Correct. We both.
You're fully admitting to that right now.
Fully admitting that we paid somebody to kill both of them.
What do you think that makes less difference than if you told us admitted to killing them?
What do you mean?
The detective is now telling the suspect that being a murderer is basically as morally wrong as buying a murderer. The suspect is confused. He thought that by admitting to the fact that he paid a hitman to kill 2 people, he will get less in trouble for killing 2 people.
Well, I mean, you're basically committing. You're
I'm an accessory to a murder.
Oh, no, it's a little bit more than accessory. I got news for you.
Sure.
So you basically just admitted to committing a murder. So what difference does it make at this point in time if you go ahead and tell us the truth? Do you understand what I'm saying?
That is the truth.
Well, no. Again, I mean, no. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean,
I think Josh is telling us that's what he's telling us is you've said that, and if
we
we believe otherwise, which is what we do, Josh, we have to prove it. And you have to understand that this investigation is far from over. I think in the end, this is not going to end well for either of you. But I think we can sit here and go back and forth.
just understand again, to sum it up, just for me, I just want to sum this up. So just understand that night, Tuesday night, Tuesday afternoon, you're home with her and she's getting the text messages and phone calls from Cindy, and it's more problems. You guys are having arguments.
Monday.
Yeah, and you guys are having arguments about this again because, both of you are into this, and you're scared and you don't want to get in trouble and she's not letting up, And so the next thing Tuesday, at first you said to us, I got mad, I left, I drove around for a little bit, I turned my phone off because I didn't want to deal with her, but yet I called her 11 o'clock at night. Okay, so that's what we're going to go with. I called her 11 o'clock at night, just, I don't know why, and you said you wanted to go home, but then you drove all the way out to Daytona, you threw your gun off the bridge, and then you came back. First version. Okay. Second version is you were mad. We know you guys were arguing about the gun, and we know you guys were arguing about Cindy. We know. Right? You're nodding your head, yes. Okay, so you're arguing about Cindy. And, at some point in time, there's so many disconnects here. It's like, well, okay, we paid this guy Jay to get us to sell drugs for us, to get us more money to give to her, or we pay this guy Jay to go take care of it. One of the two, we just don't know. However, either way, it doesn't make a lot of sense for you to go over there that day. You understand what I'm saying? But at first it was like, I don't know where I went, I just drove around. But now we know, after we confronted you with what we knew, you know, oh yeah, I was there. Okay, so that's awful convenient, isn't it? And it's awful convenient that your phone is off when it seems like you really aren't having that much of a problem with Amelia. You know, you wanted to talk to her. You tried to talk to her that night. I think you even sat here and said, I tried to call her to tell her what was going on, I think is what you said when you got back in the car and you were vaping. So, you know, you're nodding your head, yeah. So that's not somebody who's having a problem with somebody who doesn't want to talk. You know what that means? That somebody turns their phone off because they don't want people to know where they're at, okay? You know, listen, I could watch TV too and know if I turn my phone off, they don't know where I am. So that's very easy to explain, okay? So your phone is off. Yeah, no, so your phone is off. And then you go and you went over the Alchemy Lounge and you probably got pissed off thinking about it even more. And then, you know what? At some point in time, guess what? You go back over there. And you know what? You can shake your head no all you want, but again, it doesn't make sense why you. So this is what I'm trying to explain to you. You need to sit and think about this, okay? You need to think about it. And this is what people are going to hear, and people are going to go, he's not telling the truth, all right? The fact of the matter is this Jay guy just didn't come out of nowhere. He came out as somebody that was going to try and sell pills for you and get you money. And I think that what that shows is, that I believe. I'm pretty sure you believe that too. He took your money, and he probably took your money. He took your money with the guise of he was going to buy drugs for you, to sell the drugs for you, and give you the money. He was going to take a little cut. That was a lie. Okay, but again,
we paid him to get rid of these two people.
Right, and that's where I come back to. We're right back to square one. Okay, if you paid them to do this, how do you think that makes you? How do you think that makes your hands any less dirty?
It did. I am dirty. I understand that.
You are just as guilty as they are.
Correct.
Okay. So how did you find out from Jay that they actually did what you asked them to do?
I didn't.
So they did this and they didn't tell you.
Did your wife have any conversations with Jay after this?
I have no idea. Okay. I asked her, hey, did you talk to Jay?
So he has idea. He just said it.
She said, no, I haven't heard from him. So I don't know if she did or if she didn't.
Okay.
So I know for a fact that...
what did you tell your brother about the gun? I mean, your sister about the gun? For real?
I told her I threw it away.
Again, how did that conversation come up?
What do you mean?
The detectives are pointing out even more holes to his already see-through story. Even the little details will be dismantled to reveal how inconsistent his lies are.
Well, I mean, I talk to my sisters all the time. It's not the first thing I don't say is, hey, how you doing? I threw my gun away.
Okay. My sister was there. My sister talked to Amelia, and I guess Amelia told her.
After you paid these people to take care of her, why would you be worried about paying her back the money when you already paid these people $10,000 to kill her?
Because to me, it's like one or the other. You know, you either start. I mean, and we hate to laugh, but it's like it's been going on all day between you and your wife.
Tell me why. Why would you go over there and try and talk to her? Why would you talk to Amelia about paying her back?
Because they're two innocent people. Like.
Okay, did you make any efforts to call Jay and tell him not to do it, and we want the money back, and we want to go pay her?
No.
No. Why not?
Why not? If they were innocent people.
Why?
I don't know.
You don't know? That's the best answer you have? I don't know?
All I know is I went there.
No, it's not all you know. Stop saying that. Amelia knew exactly why you were there. Amelia knew exactly where to look for you. Pretty funny, don't you think? I mean, the fact of the matter is your phone is off. Why? Because you went there. Because if it was so innocent in the first place, you would have told us about it. But you didn't. So Amelia knew where to go look for you. And there's a reason why they were asking where your gun was. Jesus Christ, even your sister's asking about this. Your own sister. Why the fuck would they ask you where your gun is if you were completely and totally, no. Now your wife is sitting in there telling us that you came home and told her you did this. Your own sister's asking where your gun is. You have a big decision to make. You've already messed up as much as, and then you're going to let her go down. You really want to take her down with you? What do you have to gain? What are you going to get from taking her down with you? What? What is there to gain? Nothing. Nothing. So again, do you think that just by saying that stuff it's going to go away?
No.
Okay. Do you expect anybody to believe anything you're saying when everything that we've talked to you about, everything that we've challenged you on, is the only way we've gotten you to tell us anything that's true?
I understand that. But I know that
your whereabouts are unaccounted for. I got news for you. Your whereabouts are unaccounted for at the time of this homicide. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
Your phone is off.
Your gun
is missing. Yeah. Not Jay. And I got news for you. Jay is not going to admit to a murder for you.
Josh, I'll give you even more common sense that just occurred to me. Sitting around, what kind of neighborhood do you think that was, having been there for a few hours? What kind of neighborhood is it?
I don't know, not the best, I guess.
Yeah, it's a rough neighborhood. You agree with that?
Yeah.
No one kicked in this lady's door. Is she going to open the door to Jay Persad or some 6'5" black guy in the middle of the night? Or is she going to open the door, oh, here's that guy again?
But I never went back there.
Yeah, you did.
He's absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, think about that for a sec. She's not going to open the door in that neighborhood for someone that she doesn't know. Like you said, you were having a nice conversation with them. You maybe even left it on good terms as far as, I don't know, maybe it didn't leave it on good terms. But when you went back and knocked on the door, they would have had no trouble. Okay, here's a guy who talked. She would have opened the door for you. She wouldn't have opened the door for these guys.
Sometimes the simplest answer is the most probable one. Cynthia, having her money stolen, would most likely be anxious or paranoid about denied visitors. If the person who knocked on her door was the employee from the bank with her missing money, she might have let him in.
Josh, will you at least concede in this conversation, again, not being a stupid person, that this looks really bad for you?
It does, and I understand.
Because you're at the scene.
I know.
You have a gun that you claim or that you say was stolen from you. Okay, you are unaccounted for. You have your phone off. Okay, all of these things add up. You have an absolute motive too to have these people killed. All those things add up to a circumstantial case for first-degree murder. And your answer to it is, this is her. She's driving this boat.
She is.
Okay.
I hate to say it, but she is.
All right. Well, like I said, we got some things to do to
I want to ask
either prove or disprove you here.
Why didn't that guy just carjack you?
She said he was watching, so I
don't give a shit what he said about watching you. What I'm saying is, if I'm the guy that's robbing you, and I got a gun in your head, but am I going to let you put your hand anywhere near a gun? Why not just say, get out of the car? Take the car.
I don't know.
So all he did, out of the goodness of his heart, was just take your gun from you.
Take my gun.
What about your wallet?
He said.
What about money?
He said. That's what I'm saying. He said, "You know why I'm here. I've been watching you. Give me your piece," and that was it.
So you assumed that to mean something to do with Jay.
Correct.
So again, Jay had this money from 4 days before, 4 or 5 days before. Nothing happened. Nothing happened yet.
Friday, Saturday.
Right. Yet when you go there, he just happens to be there, and there just happened to.
He said they've been watching.
They never mentioned that apartment.
Who was it?
The guy that took your gun. He never mentioned that apartment.
He said, "I'm here. I've been watching. I know why you're here." When I left at 11 o'clock, the door was wide open. On their apartment.
That's fine.
Josh, if you were a hitman, what time of the night would you kill somebody?
I don't know.
Would you do it? Would you do it like in maybe like 3 o'clock in the morning? When do you think there would be the least amount of witnesses around?
I don't know.
Again, like we said, one way or another, you got a lot to deal with. But I mean, are you a selfish person? Do you ever think of yourself as a selfish person?
No.
Okay.
I just killed 2 people to cover up my failed bank heist, and then tried to blame it all on my friends and family. No, I'm not selfish. Why do you ask?
So, you know, your story just doesn't make any sense. And you know, for you again to take Amelia down, I guess I'm kind of at this point.
And I'm not being selfish. My thing is, we've been together for 7 years, and I've done the world and back with this girl regarding her son, herself, with her baby daddy problems, and
She says you're abusive.
Hearing that he was abusive from the mother of the child he drove to school every day must be mentally hard to take. A good note to end with.
Mentally and physically. I mean, that's the picture she's painting of you, Josh. I hate to burst that bubble for you, but we asked her about that, and she used that as an excuse for some of the things that went on. She said that you are abusive. You threatened to kill her entire family if she talked about this. So that's the picture that she's painting of you.
And that's not me. I mean, that blows my mind.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Both of what you have said today blows my mind.
That blows my mind.
But this doesn't look good for you, Josh. But we're going to do our jobs. And just know that.
And I want you guys to.
And that could end up with you going to jail for murder. You know? Because, again, there's a lot of things here. I'm not a big believer in coincidences. Neither one of us are. You know? But you think about all those things that you got going against you at this point in this case. That you're there. That you have a gun. That it's got missing. You're unaccounted for. You know, you absolutely have a motive. You've already tried to make some half-assed attempt to have these people killed or to regenerate some more money. I mean, there's just a lot of problems. A lot of problems. So we'll just have to see how it pans out. Is there going to be anything on your phone about this case, about this murder, about any chatter about what went on or about paying people?
No.
Okay.
On Snapchat, the only thing you'll see was from Jay. Oh, I need $9,000 more, something like that.
Okay.
And I know Amelia's phone for
But
sure.
it's not. It's going to be a generic. I need nine. It's not going to be like I need $9,000 more to kill these people.
Yeah.
Is that what he said in the Snapchat, or just
No,
that he needs $9,000?
No, I think it was I need $9,000 more, something like that.
Okay, but he didn't say specifically what for.
Correct. But I know Amelia's. If you guys look at Amelia's Snapchat,
Yeah.
it should have that there.
Okay.
Between her and Jay Prasad.
Okay.
And your understanding that was for killing them.
Correct.
But you went over there to talk to them. All right.
Good enough.
All right. Time's now approximately 6:55 hours.
able to get another
I'm sorry, 18:55
Okay.
hours. Include this interview.
A warm one or something?
Just boil it for you. Yeah, we could probably grab you a warm one.
What time is it now?
It's about 7 o'clock, Josh.
I would never expect her to say that about me. That's crazy.
Surprise ourselves sometimes. Okay.
He is left alone for the next 6 hours. Given the fact that he has a somewhat freshly injured leg, it must have been painful to sit for the first 6 hours, and then for another 6.
Hey, Joshua.
Yep.
Hey, man. Alright, I need you to stand up. That's why I searched you already, right? You have nothing on you?
Yeah, nothing on
Alright, just going through it real fast. I'm going to search you again. James Harris, put your hands behind your back. Alright, make sure you step out in the hallway there. I'm going to grab the stuff out of here.
And there limps away Joshua Ramsawmy, the man who didn't get away with money or with murder.
New details now in a homicide investigation. Money is believed to be the motive in the death of a mother and her son. 52-year-old Cynthia Stack and 22-year-old Sean Stack were found shot to death in their apartment along West Jefferson Street on July 18th. Amelia Bisoon and her husband Joshua Ramsawmy are charged with the killings. Now, investigators say Bisoon stole $50,000 from a client of the victims when she worked at JP Morgan Chase Bank When the client's daughter began to investigate, records saw that Ramsawmy and Bisoon got weary, both in the Orange County jail right now with no bond.
As for today, Joshua Ramsawmy is pre-sentenced for theft, scheme to defraud, fraudulent use of personal identification, forgery, uttering forgery, exploitation of elderly, and 2 first-degree murder. The crime of first-degree murder is a capital offense in Florida and only has 2 possible sentences: life without the possibility of parole, or death.
How do you say your last name?
Ramsawmy, the W sound.
Ramsawmy?
Yeah.
Okay.